From doing thorough research to training hard to perform their own stunts, the One Piece cast followed some very tight rules to bring this live-action adaptation to a whole new level. One Piece manga was first published in 1997, which makes it older or around the same age as some of the lead cast of the live action. And that means the series has gathered a huge and loyal following over the years, which makes this first rule very important for the cast to follow. The cast of One Piece had to thoroughly research the manga and the anime to understand their roles in the show before filming started. This rule was spelled out in a letter from Netflix to One Piece creator Ichiro Oda, which says, "We have two goals: to not betray the fans and to have the show be loved by those who don't yet know One Piece." So Inaki Godoy, who plays Monkey D. Luffy, realized he was handed a very delicate position with the role and knew he just had to portray it right. In 2021, Godoy shared an image of himself on Instagram surrounded by One Piece manga copies, anime, and even figurines while wearing a Netflix One Piece t-shirt. Then he added the caption saying, "I've been doing my research on One Piece and I know how much this means to all of you. I want to let you know I will do my best and I appreciate all the kindness you've shown me. Thank you for the trust." During his research, Godoy discovered many things about Luffy that made his performance in the live action stand out. While learning facts about the character, he found that Luffy loves listening and doesn't speak too much. He also figured out that he loves his friends and will do anything to reach his dreams while having fun on the way. So, as soon as Godoy learned all of these exciting things about Luffy, he knew that he had to make a balance to make the effects of the rules stick.
How can I be fun, energetic, and crazy, but also keep this real, you know? How do I find that balance?
Although Godoy started following this rule of doing accurate research during his audition and after he landed the role, it was a different case for Emily Rudd, who plays Nami. Before the rule became a much needed thing to do and follow, Emily was already deep into it as soon as Netflix's live action was announced. Unlike Godoy, she didn't have to do as much research because she's been a loyal follower of One Piece anime since she was young. So she's a fan who wanted to ensure the adaptation stays accurate for the devoted fans and herself. Emily has always wanted to play Nami because that's the character she feels more like in the show, so she knew the role inside out and only needed to make others see this too. So she colored her hair and posted pictures showing she could do her own stunts, and she convinced her fellow fans she was the right fit for Nami. That means this role was easy for Emily because she didn't need any research, as she's been following the series most of her life. However, the other cast members had to catch up with Emily to learn more about their characters so they could learn to act it out naturally. The first rule had much to do with understanding their roles, but the second rule for the cast is more advanced because it expanded and included all of them. According to the show's director, Mark Jobst, it was a strict rule for the cast to have warmth and heart because that would make it possible for them to build the show together with their chemistry. So this rule was fundamental because without it, the characters would lack the necessary chemistry in the series. If you notice, from the beginning of One Piece till the end, there's an obvious attraction between the characters even when they disagree with Luffy on being a part of his piracy crew. That type of connection is beautiful to viewers and makes fans feel drawn to the characters. So the actors themselves needed to be warm and open to being friends on the set. Mark pointed out why this was an important rule when he said it didn't matter if the script was perfect or if the set was a paradise. One Piece's existence and continuation depend on whether fans can fall in love with the characters. And this will only be possible if the cast already has a friendship that can help bring their performance to life. So this was a rule the cast got over quickly as they became great friends as soon as they got cast for the show and continued to hang out with each other even after filming. And viewers can agree that the chemistry between the characters is genuine. One of the rules stated that the cast needed to stay faithful to their characters from the anime, but another rule limited this to an extent. While developing the show, Netflix wrote to Oda saying live action adaptation isn't about replication, it's expression. So that means they had no plan to recreate the anime, but to make their version of it while still maintaining the message behind it. Mark mentioned that the biggest wish and rule on set was to create the live action as its own thing. Following this rule, the cast had to understand that Netflix live action isn't to take over One Piece, but to complement both the manga and the anime. While sticking to the rule, Inaki Godoy decided to create his version of Luffy with the help of the director. So Godoy and the other cast members had the luxury of being themselves on the set.
So knowing that I could trust my team to get out of my comfort zone really gave me a safety to, try to be unique because Luffy is extraordinary, so you need to be different.
This particular rule was beneficial because it helped Godoy be himself and treat Luffy like a unique character. And because he could do all of that, he found something in Luffy that he discovered he also had while growing up.
Growing up, I was a lot like Luffy in some ways. I had no worries in the world. Everything was so much fun.
In the anime version, Mayumi Tanaka has been voicing Luffy since 1999, and Godoy revealed that he never tried to copy Mayumi's style of expressing the character. Instead, he had to create his version of Luffy in live action, giving him a different voice. So staying original despite remaining faithful to the actual production was an important rule for the cast. Shows like One Piece use stunt doubles and extra actors to help with most of the fighting sequences. However, the show's cast had to follow another strict rule that made them need fewer body doubles and pull many action scenes off themselves. So the director said he didn't just want to work with the cast who could act or play out the emotions well, he needed the cast to get into the actions and fight scenes on their own. Mark explained why this was important when he said he shot One Piece action in big, long, flowing takes that don't cut, but follow the cast from one sequence to the next while picking up another actor in the same shot. He added that if he had to introduce stunt doubles into these shots, he wouldn't be able to capture the moment the way he wanted. For that rule to be duly followed, the cast had to follow the most stressful and crazy task on the set, which was to train hard for their performances. Makenyu, who plays Zoro, had one of the most demanding moments following this rule, as he had to learn to fight with 3 swords before filming started. Although Makenyu is skilled in using swords to fight, the actor struggled with Zoro's character because he had to use his mouth to wield the 3rd sword he carried in the series. So he had to do specific training for Zoro, as he revealed that he made his jaw learn to support the sword in his mouth while he was at it, and even though most of his past jobs required sword fighting, and he's known to always do his stunts by himself, One Piece was a big challenge to him, but he made sure he delivered. Like Makenyu, Taz Skylar was also very committed to following this rule, as he gave his all into becoming Sanji in the series. During the few months before filming started, Taz attended an exclusive training on fight and defense, as he trained in Taekwondo and learned with MMA fighters. The actor learned to use his legs mainly to perform most of his stunts by himself. Sanji is a unique character in the Straw Hat Pirates crew because he's also a good chef, and Luffy doesn't joke with his meals. So Taz ensured he also learned to cook to be the perfect all-round Sanji from the show. He had to enroll in a cooking class under a chef Jamie Oliver had trained to achieve this. So seeing Sanji cutting onions smoothly using the knife in the show was a deliberate effort by Taz to follow the rules and learn to do things by himself. The actor put his all into becoming a chef and a fighter, and he explained how challenging it was for him, saying, "I've never gone psycho like I've gone psycho on this. This is the hardest I've ever worked for anything in my entire life." The director agreed, saying that Taz trained so hard and was so committed to following the rules that it became a habit for him on the set. Mark said, as to the cooking, every now and then, he'd come to rehearsal with another awesome dish, albeit served with bloodied hands nipped in the process of learning knife skills. Taz took this rule so seriously that he became just like Sanji, who cooks for anyone who's hungry. So he was always bringing food to the other cast and crew on set, and it became a natural thing for him and helped him settle into his role. What do you think about these strict rules the cast of One Piece went through to play their roles? Share your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for watching.